What's up, everybody? My name is Devan Bumstead, and I'm the worship pastor at Newbury Park First Christian Church and one of the leaders of Encounter Praise. And I simply wanted to give you a brief tour of our Livestream rig. Now more than ever, churches are scrambling to find ways to effectively connect with their congregations and larger communities via technology. And our church recently added some of these pieces to give us the ability to effectively stream. There are a lot of other great videos on the web about different Livestream solutions, and even ours. We have plans to expand in the next season ahead, but I simply want to show you one way of doing it. And all this that I'm about to show you would not be possible without the help of CCI Solutions, who designed and implemented our new AVL system, as well as Production Online and Luke Hendrickson for their incredible broadcast template and other invaluable training tools. Now listen, we're not a big church. Under 500 people on a weekend, maybe closer to 400 with kids, counting the band twice, you know what I mean? We're not highly staffed. Volunteer base is healthy, but not exploding. So what I'm saying is that you too can get a very professional result with the tools I'm about to show you, and you don't have to be a megachurch to do it. As they say, there's a lot of ways to skin a cat, so there may be other ways to connect these pieces together. And if you've got working, credible, tested, and used ways of doing these things, please let the community know in the comments below. But let's jump into what we do here. First step, after making sure your soundboard is DANTE compatible, is to set up a DANTE network. Now, I'm still a DANTE noob, so I'm not going to spit out a bunch of info I'm only pretending to know, but what I do know is that a stout, secure network is necessary. Now, we here had to set up a larger network for other AV needs around our whole campus, but at its core, you just need a DANTE card coming out of your soundboard. We have an Allen & Heath D-Live with a CDM64 mix rack, and our DANTE card is connected to that. But these days, almost all digital mixers have an expansion card slot that you can add a DANTE card to. Once we put that DANTE card in, then that card gets plugged into our network switch, and then from there, our audio can pretty much be routed anywhere we want. The way it works is that it will take our audio signal right after the preamp in the mixer and not be affected by anything else that's done on our soundboard. So basically, our front of house mix is completely separate from our Livestream mix, with the lone exception of the gain setting or the preamp of our mixer. Does that make sense? So our gain does affect the audio signal being sent to DANTE, but nothing else we do does. Okay, moving on. For us, we have the audio routed to a few different things around campus, but as it pertains to the live stream, we have a network cable running all the way from our DANTE card in our sound booth to my office, or the broadcast suite, as I affectionately call it. And for us, to go this distance, we had to use fiber cable and all that junk, but this was just because my office was the most ideal spot to run the live stream, and my office is also the furthest spot from our auditorium. Hopefully you have a room or another solution that's a little closer, because it will save you money. But once it gets to the broadcast suite, then it gets plugged into a FOCUSRITE REDNET PCIER card housed in a SONNET Echo Express SE1 chassis, which essentially turns this into a Thunderbolt 3 recording interface recognized by your DAW of choice, Logic, Pro Tools, whatever. For us, we use Logic, and so when we plug this REDNET card into our computer, Logic will now be able to see every input that our soundboard is putting out. We've also got a REDNET X2P connected to our network, so we can take the audio that comes out of Logic and send it to our studio monitors. There are definitely other simpler ways to do this, but we wanted the ability to have a talkback mic sit in the broadcast suite, and this X2P acts as a DANTE interface with two inputs as well, so we can connect a mic to it and send that to one of our channels on our soundboard and feed that to the band's in-ears so the broadcast engineer can talk to them. Pretty cool. But once you've got the REDNET PCIe card plugged into Logic, here's where the magic happens for us. Luke Hendrickson, who does a lot of production for Bethel Music and runs their broadcast mix, has graciously offered up for sale the same template that he uses for Bethel's broadcasts, available at Production Online. Side note, no one is paying me to say this or do this. I'm simply sharing this information to help my brothers and sisters out, right? Here's what the template looks like. Complete channel strip layouts with Waves plugins and all settings ready to go. Routing, grouping, busing, mastering, auto-tuning, drum replacement, sampling, all available in this template. Granted, you do need to own the dozen or so plugins in order to get the most out of the template, but the template will run just fine if you don't own the plugins he uses. You'll just need to do a little processing yourself. But for us, we knew we wanted to do this a long time ago, so we chipped away at purchasing the plugins when sales were happening and ended up getting all of them for a really reasonable price. And once we got our audio routed to this template, our band can be playing live live in our auditorium, and we can be both recording the audio into our broadcast computer, monitoring the audio, and streaming the audio all at the same time, completely separately from the front of house mix. Pretty incredible. Now, during live broadcasts, we connect a Behringer X-Touch control surface to Logic, so we have some tactile faders to play with. You can bank through channels with this thing, and every level adjustment you make on the physical fader will move the corresponding fader in Logic as well, making the broadcast workflow more like the front of house workflow. So then, how do we get that audio to shake hands with the video and then stream it online? Let me show you. There are a few more little pieces of hardware we use to do this. We have an Aterotech UND40 connected to our DANTE network that can put out 4 analog signals. We only use 2, a left and a right, that come from our master out in Logic. Those get routed to these little balanced to unbalanced transformers. The product is a RDL TX1A, and then those plug into our BLACKMAGIC web presenter. So now let's talk about the camera. Like I said earlier, we have plans later to add more cameras, but right now we only have 1 camera. And that camera has an SDI out, which is then connected to a BLACKMAGIC mini converter optical fiber 12G. Then fiber is run from this camera all the way to the broadcast suite, and then another optical fiber 12 converter is there to turn the fiber back to SDI. Then it gets plugged into the web presenter. The web presenter also has a little SDI out, so I used another little SDI to HDMI converter so I could plug in a cheap TV so our broadcast audio engineer can see the camera feed right above the mixing position. So now that the audio and the video are connected to the web presenter, then you just plug the web presenter into another computer via USB, pull up WIRECAST, and WIRECAST sees the web presenter as a video and audio source and will effectively combine the two and set it up to stream. In WIRECAST then you can also overlay lyrics, add other videos, media, countdowns, lower thirds, all that fun stuff that we've only this week begun to play with. So that's how we do it here. And hopefully this will just give you a few more options, ideas, and tools to help you communicate well during this season. If you'd like to hear some audio samples of songs we've recorded from live services that have used this broadcast template, go to NPFCC's YouTube music playlist or Encounter Praise's Instagram page. All the pieces of gear that I've just talked about I've linked to down in the description, as well as attached a high-res image of the graphical layout of our system. If your church has bigger audio, video, or lighting dreams, I highly recommend you check out CCI Solutions to possibly be your partner in your next project. And again, see productiononline.com for the broadcast template and other great training videos. If you have questions or comments, let me know in the comments below, and you can subscribe to this channel if you want to stay up to date on what we're posting. Thanks all. God bless.